Hello, VOD viewers. I like to make sure you all feel acknowledged, you know? You missed the live stream, it's fine. I never pre-plan these things, it's just kind of like, hey, do I happen to, have a minute, that I can record? And I do, because my videos are back. If you're watching this VOD and you missed out on the Spy Family video because it had been taken down, or you missed out on Mushoku Tensei giving it another shot because it had been taken down, both of those videos are currently available right now. I can't say for how long that will be the case, but, especially because you're listening to the VOD, because I'm specifically addressing the VOD viewers right now, since we've got 12 people in the live so far, but nobody's chatted yet. So for now, I'm still talking to the VOD viewers. The Mushoku Tensei video's back. The Spy Family video's back. Both of those were the two videos that were taking off the most, and then they got cut off right at that moment when I was like, fuck. Especially Mushoku Tensei, 30,000 views in 3 days is better than anything I've done in a very long time. So that video, I think, I don't know what it's going to do now, but it double first for clear quartz with $2. You actually did it. Double first. Congratulations and thanks. Doi tashimashite. I'm going to start saying that every time somebody pays me, because I've been doing the Duolingo and learning my Japanese all proper but yeah, I'm excited that my videos are back up. And monetized even, because the Spy Family one, it had been taken down. I got it back for a while, and it got 7K views while being unmonetized because it was still in limbo. So, now that it's been re-uploaded and is actually monetized, it might be better in the long run, because the way these copyright claims work is so fucking bizarre. It's they put a claim on your video, and then you can appeal that claim, and if they don't respond within 48 hours, your video gets listed again, which is what just happened with the Mushoku Tensei one. And then there's the rest of the month for them to either respond or they have, either respond or not. And if they don't respond in 30 days, your video is just back, and it has the monetization and everything's fine. But if they do respond, they can either choose to reinstate it or keep it down, with the Akebi Sailor Fuku video, because that one had gotten blocked. I don't remember if I even tried to appeal it or if the appeal got rejected, but I ended up re-uploading that one. Spy Family, I had appealed it had come back, and then the appeal was rejected. Ninja Scroll is still in limbo, technically. It has 16 days for Toho to decide if they want to take the video down. And then Mushoku Tensei is now in limbo with Molebeat, so I noticed you've been live streaming a lot recently. Having fun? I have been having fun because I've been making some decent money doing it, and I'm really trying to make a lot of money right now so Bird and I can get a place. Hence why I've been cranking out so many videos, just working really hard, breaking my back quite literally. I'm afraid because my mom last year had to have a surgery on her back near her spine because there's a certain valve or something that gives a juice to your legs that lets them move, I guess. And that thing was being pinched on her body to such an extent that it was irreparable without surgery. And I think the same thing is going to happen to me if I don't get really into yoga before too very long. And I keep telling myself this every day, but I just sit in the chair and work every chance I get, and the rest of the time, I'm in a hazy state of trying to figure out what I'm going to do next. So I've definitely been sitting in the chair way too much, and so my lower back is developing real problems where I can't stop pressing on it. I can't get my hands to get away from my back because you know, it's an unresolved issue that they want to solve, and like there's no way my hands alone can solve it. It's going to take like a lifestyle adjustment of some sort. But I don't want to end up like my mom with a pinched thing that connects my back to my legs or whatever that fucking requires surgery. Because that was all terrifying. Everything she went through sucked. She was in pain all the time, couldn't fucking barely walk. And that was, you know, when I was living with her last year. So thankfully the surgery, you know, fixed that stuff. She's been up on her feet again. But yeah, I don't want that to happen to me. So, you know, I gotta be out of this pure of a grind set eventually. You know, but right now it's about getting that place, and the more the channel recovers, the better it is for the future. I make so much more money off of ad revenue now that I actually put ad breaks in my videos that it's silly. So if any of the videos I've made recently took off at all, I'd make a pretty good amount of money off of it. But the live streams help a lot. Hello to everybody here. Clear Quartz says, nice. Mighty Kaiser says, hello everyone. Sinful Mawile says, what's up? Anon Emis, hello. Risa, who would have thought playing... Who wouldn't have fun playing Elden Ring while chatting with people? I don't know. Probably some people. Right now, I'm not really even quite playing Elden Ring. I'm sort of, just watching my character sit by the fire and hang out with this merchant. But I really like this atmosphere, especially for a late night live stream, you know, talk. Have I ever checked out Lovage? I haven't. Mike Patton, Dan the Animator, and Jennifer Charles. I don't know who Jennifer Charles is, but the other two sound interesting in a collab. Alright, we're up to 31 viewers now. I can probably like start playing the video game or something. I gotta open up the chat on my phone, because right now I've just got it open over on my monitor on the other computer, so it's a little bit of a pain to see. Go to my channel. Hello. Hi, Golden Witch Dark Hour stream. Wow, what a good name for a stream. Alright, turn down the audio. Okay. I'm ready to go. I do like this campfire scene you got going. I do too. Do I still enjoy the Horseshoe Saga? I mean, I enjoyed it the last time I saw it in like 2018. I don't really see myself watching it again because I feel like I got the point of it that time, and you know, it's not like a hyper rewatchable thing in full, but it's a good piece of internet media history. Glad to hear you're making that cash and doing health things. Well, I'm not doing health things. That's the problem. I want to be doing health things. I'm actually dying. What I'm trying to say is, no, my back is in pain, and it's falling apart. And you know, it's good that I have the clarity of thought to know what to do about it, but I've had that clarity of thought for months and haven't done anything. So, you know, again, grind set, make that money, get that house. No concern for health and safety, my friends. This is about, well, I mean, health and safety is an end goal, but, you know, you give a little to get a little, I guess. You burn the wick at both ends, because that's how you get your candle to be on fire. Like these trees in Elden Ring. Let's beat up a turtle. Did that make you sad? I took his neck meat. Now it's mine. Do you do crypto things? Not really. I have some crypto, but I don't have the kind of investment capital to really make it worth, like, going into heavily, you know? Like, nickel and diming your way through it isn't that interesting. And I guess, you know, Sam Hyde's talked about, if you really can't string together $2, then maybe you do need to find some low level, pump and dump, do the research, find something you can get a little, I don't know. That's a lot of work for me. I mean, I'm doing a lot of work, but it's a type of work that I understand and enjoy. So, once I actually have money to throw around, then I will probably put more attention into crypto, or at least having someone around that can pay attention to crypto for me and help me make decisions about it when I don't want to, devote as much energy. I would honestly, my plan when I have that kind of investment income is to first of all buy some I bonds, because everybody has pretty much told me that is the most secure and guaranteed bet as far as investments go. It's not like a super giant investment or anything, but it's inflation proof, and you're buying the government's debt. Both of which are things I'm a big fan of, because the biggest problem with money is inflation. It's that your money becomes less worthwhile the more time passes, and so your options are either basically spend it as fast as possible, which is what I did with my money for the first 5 years of my career, and that was fun, but it didn't leave me with any money to play with in the long run. Whereas the other option is put it into something that appreciates instead of depreciates in value, like an I bond. So, stuff like that sounds promising, but I ain't got no money to do that with. So, hey, I see a super chat. JNES with $5. How long did it take for you from your first live stream to talk naturally without overthinking what to say or worrying about the chat? Oh, man. I'm trying to think of what was my first live stream. So, overthinking what to say has never been too much of a problem for me, because I just kind of go. And, my ability to speak the way I do is really just because I, have always talked a lot. Like continually, this, because I know JNES, so a very long time viewer, that I've never shut up, and I've done tons and tons and tons of these live streams and podcasts. But, even before I started doing it in front of an audience of lots of people, I was doing it just talking to my mom, or talking to my brother, or talking to my friends and family members. So, there is a level of performance that you're going to put on, even just keeping those people entertained. I'll say someone like me. I am myself a very impatient listener with people. I'm as shouldn't be surprising, considering all the stuff I've said in my videos about how I drop stuff immediately. But and I've tried to become more and more patient as I've grown older, because I do view it as kind of a personality weakness of mine that I'm so impatient. And I definitely get it from my mom, and I only really truly understood how impatient she is after living with her again. And, if she's bored with whatever you're telling her, she'll just be like, okay, get to the point. Or what are you, where is this story going? She really doesn't want to have to listen to a boring story, but she will tell you a story that goes on forever, because she tells it in an exuberant and exciting way. And, she's really involved in wanting to make it exciting for you. So, I'm used to hearing super long-winded stories and giving long-winded stories, but also understanding that you have to be entertaining or people just aren't going to pay attention to you, And, compared to me, Shade kind of gave up. He would go on a long-winded spiel to me or my mom, and go into all this deep WoW lore and stuff, and we would just kind of start being like, this is boring, or I don't really care. And he kind of was like, oh, well then fuck you. I just won't talk to you unless you show that level of interest. So he's the kind of person who be quiet 9 times out of 10, and then you ask him to explain to you something that he understands, and then the floodgates are open and he'll be talking for the next hour, you know. But like, your investment in the subject matter, or in just getting to hear him talk, I guess, will carry you through that. I'm in like a constant state of expectation that people are going to stop paying attention to me any second now, that like, you know, that you're already getting bored. And so I feel that pressure on myself to continue talking way more than I feel the pressure to think about what I'm saying. And so, like, if you listen to older content of mine, like, particularly listen to old Digibros, like, you know, if you go to the Vic and Hope channel, I'm pretty sure all of it's still up, because, you know, my face wasn't really in much of that content, so there wasn't, like, a ton of need to disappear it all or anything. But, like, I would sing a lot and make really stupid jokes a lot, and just like say whatever dumb thing comes into my brain a lot. And so it's more of a practice of cutting all that out, rather than like, it's not so much that I'm thinking about what should I say, it's more like, what shouldn't I say, what do I need to leave out of this story, you know, what won't be interesting, or what will be incriminating, or what's going to hurt somebody if I say it. Like, those are the big concerns, because, you know, my desire to constantly fill time and constantly never shut up has caused me to do all of those things I just said I don't want to do with my speech, you know, in doing live streams in the past. So yeah, and I guess, you know, probably if I had that fear of, like, if I had been more afraid of all the problems I was going to cause, I might not have been as willing to go out and, you know, and practice and end up finding out all those things. But because everybody's going to have their own journey of shit that they realize they fucked up and wish they hadn't done. And especially when you're doing it in a public way, it can be hard to even, you know, to what's the word I'm looking for? To make people forget, you know, to disabuse people of the notion of who you used to be. That was the word I was looking for. I think that's appropriate in that context. I really like this design of this town. This place is cool. I guess I probably already killed the mariner that must have been here. Now I get to just kind of chill out and study the land. This is a pretty game. Hi, turtle. Let's, can I not ride the turtle? Come on. Come on. Come on. Alright, well, I can't ride the turtle. Let me go back to the chat, see what's going on in here. Okie dokie, okie dokie, okie dokie. Does Pokemon hold up? Yes. I'll give you a longer answer if you give me a super chat, because rants for super chats. Gotta buy Shawnees coming soon? Maybe. Just found out about Sam Hyde from the iDubbbz doc. He is a black hole of a person to investigate. You shouldn't tell anybody about... You just shouldn't tell anybody about the fact that you watch Sam Hyde. I try not to, because I'm, you know... I try not to associate with fringe culture anymore, but I also think it's important to listen to any of the most interesting people that are out there. Note to self, do not say incriminating things to fill dead air in conversation. Yeah, especially not about other people. At least with yourself, you can, you know, you can, like... say something about it later, but if it's somebody else... By the way, this is the coolest looking shot of going into a tunnel I think I've ever stopped on in a video game. ASC presents for $2. The new Void Gazers podcast has episodes weekly. Our voicemail number is 202-681-VOID. VOID, VOID. 202-681-VOID. call that number and you can leave a voicemail for the New Void Gazers podcast. It's a show that I have been doing with Riley, ASC Presents, over on the ASC Presents channel, and Mint Salad, and my husband Bird. We all do the podcast, although sometimes Bird's not available. We also have guests such as Bat Eater and Cranberry Dave, who were on the latest 2 episodes and will be on the next one as well, because we did a 3-hour episode. We had to break into 3 parts because it just went on so long. So yeah, you should all check that out. That's the best way to hear more of my sort of topical discussion, bouncing off of other people type of content. It's a really fun show. Every episode has been extremely on target, very well organized, and very well edited. I really appreciate, it's one of those where when I hear it back, I'm like, damn, this sounds better than I remember it actually being, because they hit it with the effects that make it sound all professional and shit. So it's like, well, this is like a fucking show. Kiss X Sis analysis when? What is there to say about it? Is it actually interesting? Is there a take? I could see it. People still remember it, I think. Adam Fabian with $10 out of nowhere. Not even a rant request. Thank you very much. Do itashimashite. That's what I meant to say. That's what I'm doing now. Do I like Danmachi? I think I watched 2 episodes of that and I was not into it. Any plans on doing traveling? I'm going to the Philippines for 6 months after Christmas. That's badass. I'm going to go to the WATP live show in Tennessee. I think it's in Nashville, if I'm remembering correctly. Hey, look at all the Toytuses. That's on May 14th? 15th? Not sure. But Bird is going to be taking a little vacation so that we can go and see WATP live and hang out with Riley and Mint and Cranberry Dave and make some Cantant with them. Not the show Cantant, but just the concept of content, but the way I like to say it. So that'll be exciting because I missed the first WATP live show, and it seems like they put on a much more organized, much more conceptual live show than the Dick Show does. Not that I'm complaining about the Dick Show. I just want to see what it looks like at a different angle, The Dick Show lives are really fun, and we actually did a whole episode of the New Void Gazers podcast just talking about our experiences with Dick Show live events. Of which Riley has organized a couple of the ones that I went to that were a lot of fun. But the actual shows, the show itself, because there's a lot surrounding a Dick Show live event. There's a lot of extra, beyond the just the stage performance. The shows tend to be pretty chaotic with the Dick Show live, and from what I hear, Carl's is a little bit more of a tight ship. And we also got the VIP tickets that allow us to I guess, drink wine with Carl and some other assholes. I have no idea what that's going to amount to. But basically, I'm going to try to hang out with them. I'm going to try to say, hey, Carl. And more importantly, I think Vinny Paulino will probably be there. And I have not met him yet. Because Carla, love him to death. But I've met him before. Never met Vinny Paulino. And if anybody has no fucking idea what I'm talking about Who Are These Podcasts? It's a podcast that reviews other podcasts. I've been on it a couple times. My last appearance was not very good, and you shouldn't investigate it. But otherwise, it's a great show. And I hope to make up for doing such a shit job on it in person. Just be like, I gotta fucking restore my honor within the WATP universe somehow. So I'll find a way to do that. But it's a really good podcast, and Carl from that podcast hosts The Creep Off, which is a true crime podcast where they pit two creeps against each other and decide who's creepier. That is a really, it's probably my favorite, actually. It might even be better than the Dick Show, although it kind of, so the episodes kind of bleed together a little bit, but it's descriptions of just, you know, heinous fucking things people have done, but read by two lunatics who are making comedy out of it. Because, like, I fucking can't stand anything that takes itself seriously in that way of, like, you know, he walked into the house and he saw that she was holding the knife. And I'd just be like, oh, I don't fucking care. But they're like, he sees this girl holding a knife, and he's like, well, guess I gotta throw it into her neck. I mean, what else am I gonna, you know, it's more that kind of attitude. And that makes it a lot easier to swallow the content. But it's also helped me to, you know, bleach my mind to all the heinous fucking awful things that people do. And you know, stay woke every day. Anyways, what's going on in chat world? I feel like I've been on a tear for a little while. I haven't really seen anybody saying nothing. Kiss X Sis is my first exposure to anime. Labao. I mean, it's probably the truest, like, most faithful way you could be introduced, you know, the one that will give you the best expectations of what you're getting yourself into. Dragon Pilot, whoa, what am I gonna hit by? Dragon Pilot's sick because it uses Pokemon aesthetic. Yeah, kinda. I can see that. That show was pretty neat. It looked really amazing, and the girl with the blonde hair, the little short blonde-haired girl, I remember really loving her, like, jacket that had the, like, leopard print or whatever on the side of the arms, and then I ended up getting something very similar to that I wear all the time. This, like, green, it's not a jacket, unfortunately. It's like a full pullover, like, hooded dress, basically, but it is very cute, and it looks good on me, so. Oh, I'm not dead. Shit. I thought I was literally dead there. Look at my life bar. Okay, well, it's full now, but, you know, if you saw it, it was what my friends used to call a bee's dick of health. iPod Touch 3 YouTube was crazy. I bet. My first anime exposure was looking for the newest Naruto episode on an old pirate site and immediately getting distracted by a Kiss X to say. That's really how they got you back then, man. I have to wonder, like, you know, if everybody who watched hentai marked it on my anime list, like, or at least proportional to how many people use my anime list, like, would, like, Oni-Chi-Chi or even ecchi shows like Kiss X Sis, like, be the top rated on the site? Like, they're pretty high up anyways, but a lot of people are not marking down the pornography or even the ecchi that they watch, and I know that because people say so. I've talked to plenty of people who say so. The website Anime Planet wouldn't even list, it still doesn't, I think, most hentai. Maybe they added it eventually, because it was what eventually had led me away from that site, because I had preferred it over my anime list at first, but I was just like, I gotta keep track of all the hentai I've seen. It's just as important as all the other stuff, like, you know, as perspective on culture and history. So, you know, I need to track everything I've seen. I think they did eventually add at least some stuff, if not all. But yeah, it was a fundamental disagreement of ideals that I had with the person who was running the site at the time. God damn it, I just wanted to pick up that thing on that corpse. Why are you so hard to hit? I get very obstinate in this game about not getting off my horse. I just don't want to bother, even if it's, like, not a tactical advantage and I'm just kind of circling the enemy trying to smack him. He got the stuff though. A brass shield. when I start playing this game on stream, I can never remember like what I'm doing, anything I should do, what makes sense. I just kind of start running around smacking things and going, do, 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 do. I'm playing Elden Ring, I'm waiting for some chat, and we got a $10 super chat. Doitashi Mashite to an endless strategy, who says, suppose you're in a room where time is stopped. Until you leave, 0 seconds pass IRL, but you can't do anything there except watch or analyze Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. How long before you get fed up and leave? Oh, I can okay. If I don't age when I'm in this room, I will stay there and watch and analyze all of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX until I have nothing left to say about it. Because I would come out with the ultimate Yu-Gi-Oh! GX analysis, and like I would know for a fact nobody had time to do it while I was in there. Like, okay, so today I've been watching this 8-hour Bomberman video. It's called A Bomberman Journey. I don't know who made it because it's the first video I've ever seen from them, but I'm like 2 hours in. I grew up with the Bomberman N64 games, and I was a huge fan of them, and I've thought about making a video about them many, many times, but I've always been like, how much do I need to know about Bomberman? How do I frame this? Like, does anybody give a fuck about these games at all? Like, I couldn't even get views on a Diddy Kong Racing video, so that definitely made me a little bit discouraged to try Bomberman. But maybe it's less talked about and therefore more sought after, who knows. But anyways, this person, this fucking beloved person, this absolute maniac, basically having played 3 Bomberman games in their life back in 2014, and seeing the amount of people who are suggesting Bomberman should be in Smash, realized that like nobody knew shit about Bomberman. They're like looking around the internet, trying to investigate, trying to learn more, and like every piece of info that there is about Bomberman is just like so off or so limited, and like everybody's only got experience with like 1 or 2 games. Nobody knows shit about Bomberman. There's like 90 Bomberman games or something. So this absolute insane person has spent since 2014 seemingly playing all the Bomberman games, learning all the lore, all the stories, every scrap of information that exists about Bomberman, and putting it all into this video. And editing it on an entertaining level that's like, you know, pretty consistently engaging. I mean, it's kind of repetitive because most of the games are pretty much the fucking same, and they're not, like, they're very vapid. The lore is nonsense, you know, like, they don't carry over many elements between games, and the stuff they do is all weird. Like, it's interesting just because the franchise is so baffling. But it's a dream come true. Like, it's a video that I have been waiting for my whole life. Literally, I've wanted someone to explain the whole history of Bomberman to me since I was a kid. So, when I think about that, I think, like, one of the thoughts I had was, man, imagine the confidence it took to think no one was going to snipe you in having tried to play every Bomberman game before you were done with this for, like, 8 years. You know, and I'm sure because of the fact that there was just so little interest, so few people even coming close to attempting, it's such a daunting franchise. Who would dare, unless they already were, you know, on that level of dedication. So, yeah, like, if I could have gone into that 0 time room being described in this super chat and done this with Bomberman, I don't know if I would have made it all the way through. Because based on this Bomberman video, there's so many games, and they're so similar, and it's so repetitive, and I'm not that good at it. Like, the most recent time that I thought about doing a deep dive of Bomberman, I started with the PS1 remake of the NES Classic, which is itself a remake of a ZX Spectrum game. And, like, I got a few levels in, and I was like, all right, you know, this is fine and all, but, like, I'm not that interested in base Bomberman. Like, I really just care about the N64 trilogy. So I still probably will do a video about the N64 trilogy eventually, because I have to, you know, it's part of my childhood I have to deal with. I have to get past because I'll never move beyond it otherwise. Like with Diddy Kong Racing, but I'm not attached to Yu-Gi-Oh! GX specifically. I am attached to the original Yu-Gi-Oh! If you had asked me that question about original Yu-Gi-Oh!, I would be like, I'm already going to do that. But Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, I would probably want the time chamber about it. But if you told me, like, hey, go in this room, time stops, you don't age, watch Yu-Gi-Oh! GX until you've, written every conceivable word you can about it. First of all, I'd only be in there for like a week, my time. And second of all, I'd come out with, the 10-hour Yu-Gi-Oh! GX analysis that put a stop to all Yu-Gi-Oh! GX analysis, basically. So yeah, that's my answer to that hypothetical. This is an interesting spot. I can't see shit. It's so cloudy. Like, that's the world tree. There it is. Oh, whoa. That was fucking cool. That was trippy. Anyway, let's see what the chat's up to. I'm not sick, but I'm not well. Oh, I just got another $5 super chat. Andy Liu. Hey, did you know you are great? Thank you very much. Oh, doi tashimashite. I knew I was great at certain things. And every day I realize I'm a little better than I thought I was before. Not as good as I thought I was going to be, but better than I thought I was. So, that's always a good feeling. I'm getting pretty into doing Japanese on my phone on Duolingo. I'm trying to catch up to where I was as a high school student. And that makes me feel pretty cool. When I'm blasting through sentences, I'm like, yeah, I feel smart. I feel like I can learn a language. Exchange was one of the first hentai games I remember. I think it was promoted on Newgrounds. I don't think I've heard of that one. Same question as the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX with the newest season of Beyblade. I'd do it. You could give me any show pretty much, and I would step into that chamber in a heartbeat and do my analysis video. That's kind of all I want. If you gave me a chamber that stopped time every time I analyzed some dumbass anime, I would spend the rest of time in there, Have I read the light novel Orpheus? No, I've never heard of it. I haven't read a light novel in a very long time, so if it's, anything modern at all, then... Did you know Moist Critical reacted to my raccoon video? Really? Where? How? Why doesn't it have a lot more views then? I would love to see that, wherever I can. That guy's got a great voice. Audrey Rogers with $50. Woo! Do itashimashite! Trixie, I've been following you since the Brony days. Your adapting and changing over the years has been fascinating to watch. I am really glad that you feel that way. And thank you so much for that very generous super chat. I haven't done a late night stream in a long time. I figured I would visit all the people who've been missing out on all the ones that happened during the day, because it's sort of been a, I know the daytime crowd. They've been around, but I'm always curious to see what who's around at night. And thanks for turning up to the live stream and for being, for following the content for so long. The Brony days, I look back fondly on having made the content back then because I thought it was so good at the time. And there's a lot of stuff that was good about what I was doing, but when I look at the stuff I do now, I legitimately feel a sense of progress that I haven't in a long time. It used to be that I felt that kind of progress about every 2 years. I would look back at my writing from 2 years prior and feel oh, this is way worse, I started my anime blog in 2007, so the early stuff on that blog, if anybody can go back and read this shit. It's embarrassing if you do, but if you go to myswordis.unbelievablydull.wordpress.com, it's been around since 2007, and the very early posts are just so cringeworthy and like pointless and loose and overly personal and not spell checked and barely intelligible half the time. And by 2009, when I'd started taking it seriously, I would look back at those posts and be like, this is fucking horrendous. Like, how did I ever think this was acceptable, And like, the very best stuff that I wrote from back then held up to me for a while. Like, 2009 was the first time I really did a deep analysis series, because that was when I wrote about Fooly Cooley for the first time, and I did it episodically. And after having rewatched it like several times and watched the director commentary and everything, and feeling like I had a very solid grasp on the show, even though, like, if you asked me, like, if I went back and read those posts now, I would find them completely unreadable, cringeworthy, incorrect, very limited in their understanding. But I was still proud of that writing probably till like 2012. Like, that would be the point where I had finally gotten better enough in my baseline writing that I was ahead of the best stuff I had done 4 years prior. Whereas the baseline stuff I was doing in 2011 would have been good enough that I would have been embarrassed by the baseline stuff I was doing in 2009, So, like, I've always kind of been on that tread where, like, I'm still impressed with The Asterisk War Sucks. Not in totality. There's, not full parts maybe, but like, sentences, paragraphs, sections that I would probably cut if I was going to redo it, But I still think it's good. And it's only recently that I think, like, my writing is just substantially better than that, to where, not that project will ever be something that you can, that I'm going to be like, oh yeah, it sucks now because I can write better than that. Like, no, it's good. But I feel more impressed with my writing now. Yes, I'm literally just like absolutely in like an ego spiral right now. Like, I am you're giving me way too much. You're feeding into my ego way too hard right now. You're making me feel like buying into my own hype. But it also helps that I've been writing fiction on the side, and even though I haven't completed anything enough to show it off yet in the last like year that I've been not only working away at Kusomega, but also other novels that I've got it partially done. I feel like if I release anything before Kusomega Volume 3, then it will be frowned upon because it's not Kusomega Volume 3, except for like maybe more Hermit Society or something else that's already been released. So I'm a little nervous about like finishing one of the other stories that might be shorter beforehand, but I have a few different things in the works, and I really like the stuff that I've written. So, anytime I write something that actually makes me feel something, then I feel like I've contributed something meaningful, I guess, as opposed to just trying to either make money or, just do it for the sake of doing it because it's better than doing something else. Out of here, Tibia Mariner. Hey, I got him. Enemy felled. Alright. We beat a boss. I feel like I'm playing the video game. And I did it while self-aggrandizing in response to a large donation. Clear Quartz at $2. Will we ever get to read The Good People Work in Progress? Not till it's done. anything I write that's just going to be like one complete work, you're not going to see. Because like Kusomega, you know, Volume 1, I wrote it in a day, touched it up, got the art together, released it the next day. Volume 2, it was like I wrote the first half in a day, like, well, I wrote the first few chapters not that long after the first book, and then it was like months later before I figured out where I wanted to take the story from there, and then wrote the rest of it in like a quick burst. And then I wrote an amount of Volume 3, the Nutcheck preview that I released at one point, that's still available on the website, kusomega.com. It's like it's the preview chapter or preview section alone is as long as the first book. So book 3 will be substantially longer than books 1 and 2 put together, probably, by the time it's done. But that part, you know, like that first section of it, I wrote all at once, and then like only recently have I figured out where to take the story next and gotten back to working on it. But I've also had other stories in the meantime that, you know, that are not as like with Kusomega, the point of the story is kind of evolving as I write it, and so there's like this evolutionary art of process to it where like you know as much as I do almost at each stage of its development. And so hey, what is this? So I like that it releases in parts and that it's like a serial, but the book Good People I've mentioned working on, as well as another one shot that I started working on yesterday or the other day, I don't remember, the other day. They are both like self-contained stories that, you know, will only really make sense when you read the whole thing, and then you can go, oh, okay, I see what the point of this was. Whereas like reading, you know, a couple chapters or whatever would be fun, but it also wouldn't give you enough perspective on the story to be able to like talk about it the way like with me, you know. Whereas with Kusomega, it's like we're kind of all like, if you've read the Nutcheck preview, we're kind of on the same page. You don't know where I plan to take the story, and you know, at the end of Volume 3 or anything, but like there's not like a bunch of hidden meaning that hasn't been apparent yet or anything like that, if that all makes sense. I don't know how much like people understand about like the process of writing a story, or even if it's the same for different people, but like, and it's of course different for different stories as well, but you know, it's particularly with the one I started on the other day is probably the book I've written with the most intent behind it, where like I have a very clear sense of what are the themes, what am I trying to explore, what is this about. And it's just about like filling in all the plot details, creating all the characters, and, you know, making sure that it's tight and makes sense. So like with a book like that, you know, I wouldn't want it to be experienced in an incomplete way, because it's, you know, it's a very complete idea, and I want people to come away from it impressed and like, oh man, that was like a good story. Anyway, let me get back to this fucking chat. Got some more super chats. Ryan Cormier with $5. Doi tashimashite. Wondering your take on why it's hard to get people to watch mecha shows and what their appeal is. Love the new content. Rewatched Ass War and it's great. I think the difficulty with getting people to watch mecha shows is that they think they need to be predisposed to loving giant robots. And like, I guess it does help to some degree to have that predisposition, which a lot of children just kind of naturally have. You know, it's like, it's weird when people are like, I won't watch this show because it's mecha. It's like you're making a lot of assumptions about what it is, or like, I don't know, do you hate seeing giant robots? Do you feel like what's the expectation? I have to assume that maybe some of those people have seen like action scenes from a mecha show once or something and couldn't really understand what was going on, or I don't know. I don't know what the thought is that like, because like, I get it with, say, magical girls, right? Like, when I was younger, I was like, oh, well, that's too girly. Like, you can't watch that if you're not a little girl, because, like, you know, that's who it's for. What could possibly be appealing about it if you weren't a little girl, you know? And then you watch Princess Tutu, and you're like, oh, never mind. This is amazing. So, like, you know, with that, it's like I understand the logical through line of I'm not a little girl. With mecha, I guess it's just I'm not a mecha fan. But, like, I guess I'm curious what they think a mecha fan is, or, like, what is, you know, do you have to be, like, would these shows just somehow not make any sense if you weren't obsessed with giant robots? Which, there are some, like, if there's certain viewers who, you know, like, the real mecha fans are going to be going back and watching the old stuff that, you know, isn't as appealing to people who don't care about the giant robots, you know, that are, like, longer, that have more fight scenes. You know, obviously the most popular mech shows with people who don't care about mecha are the ones that have the least focus on the mecha. So Neon Genesis Evangelion, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, Eureka 7, you know, because you know, like, even I, like, watching Eureka 7, I tune out through a lot of the action scenes in that show, because they're just not that amazingly directed, you know, like, some of them are better than others, but, like, I completely understand anybody who, you know, who, like me, doesn't, like, innately think that watching the machines blow up is awesome, just kind of getting tuned out for a lot of stuff like that. But, like, you know, watching a fight scene in Evangelion, even if there's only a few of them, every single one is incredibly memorable because of the staging and everything of it. So, like, I think that any show that is good, if you can get people to watch it, they're gonna like it. It's just a matter of, like, getting them to internalize that it's not about it's not about loving the giant robots, you know? But, like, also at the same time, do you need everybody to like giant robot shows? Like, you know, I guess if you're hurting for the fact that, you know, you want somebody to talk about them with, or you even want more of them to get made by popularizing them again, but you really just gotta sell people. Like, usually the tack people take, which is unfortunate, is, guys, this one's not really about the robots. And it's like, okay, well, it's never really about, like, it's always about human characters who use robots, you know? But I think it's just about individually selling people on shows with robots. Like, make people watch Godanner and don't tell them it's a mecha show. Tell them it's a show about repairing a marriage, you know, and then, like, see how they react when it's an over-the-top mecha show, you know. But all it takes is exposure, usually. You just got to get used to these things you're not used to. For me, it was a combination of Princess Tutu and the fight scenes from Heartcatch Precure that made me realize that, like, oh, cartoons for little girls can also be good. And then I ended up watching My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and that kind of changed the whole course of my life. Alright, I gotta move on to the next super chat. There's been a bunch of these. True Fox 1 with $10. Do itashimashite. In the past, you seem to struggle with teen melodrama in anime. Do you plan to try to get more into those types of stories, like Kuzuno Honkai, Your Lie in April, etc., or do you think it's a lost cause? It's definitely a lost cause. I'm not gonna care more about teen drama as I get older. Honestly, it's getting to a point where even, like, it's weird how quaint young people problems get, like, start to feel as you get older, and you're just like, you know, like, stuff, there reaches a point where, for me at least, like, right now, I'm not concerned about fucking anything other than money and my back. That's it. Those are the only, I'm 30 years old, and the only two concerns I have in the world are, I'd like to get my own place, so I need to get my money up, and also, I need to start taking care of my back before it breaks. That's it. That's all I think about, day in, day out. Nothing else is on my fucking mind. So, like, when people have any other issue in life whatsoever, it's already like, all right, this is imaginative, you know, like this is a far-flung, this is childish. Like, there's no chance I'm going to care more about like people crying about their feelings at any point in my life. I think that's only going to go further and further down down my list of things that are interesting. And not even to say that I'm like only into like high concept fucking, you know, Legend of Galactic Heroes, sci-fi, political narratives or whatever, because that show, quite frankly, as much as I love it, was kind of boring a lot of the time. It's definitely not my like type of show, as good as it is. You know, like I can still give it a 10 out of 10 just because it's so fucking well written, and I'm like, you know, in awe of it, and I like thinking about it. But experientially, you know, it's not a show that's like made for me. Like Akebi-chan's Sailor Fuku obviously is, you know, like that's a show that I watch and I go, nobody's gonna like this as much as I do, except for people who are gonna like this, who this is gonna be their actual favorite anime, you know, like that's the only people who are gonna like this more than I do. So yeah, like you know, stuff like that, that's what I'm gonna be looking for the most. Like stuff, anything that either I can blast through so easily and just like, you know, say a piece on it that like I like commenting on shows that have some element of sexuality to them, because of the fact that like that's a big part of what drew me to anime, that drew a lot of people to anime, and that a lot of people struggle to talk about. And even though there is kind of like this, you know, this surgent like big Coomer energy, hentai, obsessive, like, you know, attitude from the guys on Trash Taste and stuff, like I'm really trying to look at it from a more contemplative angle, you know, like a more have a sad cum baby type of angle, rather than the like, yeah, hentai is awesome and we all do it. It's like, yeah, okay, I know that, but like, what does it mean? You know, that's what I'm more interested in. So yeah, like I guess I don't remember what I'm responding to anymore. Oh yeah, teen melodrama. Yeah, hallucinogenic. Hey Dino. With $5. Doi tashimashite. What's your favorite tarot card? I am not particularly experienced with the tarot. I like a lot of the names. The Hanged Man, Death, the Fool. Although I've always kind of been like, oh really? Like the main, like the character you are is the Fool. Okay, yeah, big surprise there. There's the most recent experience I had with tarot is one of my family members was trying to, I guess, figure out like what to do about a situation going on in their life, and they had found in my grandma recently died, and I guess there was a unopened pack of Miss Cleo tarot cards in her house. If you don't know who Miss Cleo is, she was a Jamaican what do I describe it? Like TV ad. She advertised on TV a lot, but she ran a call service to tell your fortune. So she was like a Jamaican gypsy fortune teller who had TV advertisements running all the time, and basically like you paid by the minute to call her and get your fortune read. And so, you know, they slapped her face on a box of tarot cards, and it's just generic tarot cards. It's a deck of them, and it comes with a little booklet that has like an explanation of each card and what the card means reversed, but no information whatsoever about any layouts or like what they mean contextually towards one another. It's just one meaning per card. And I was just, you know, my family member was kind of trying to be very vague about it and just like laid out the cards and was like, all right, each of you like think of a question. And he lays out the cards and just like, you know, read the book and like see what it means. And I'm like, I can't. There's nothing to divine from this. Like this is the least helpful instruction booklet I have ever read in my life. My mom has proper tarot books and cards, and she will do tarot readings sometimes. But I don't know. To me, that's like, I hate vagaries for the same reason that, like, we were just talking about, that I don't like teen romance. I tend to think about things in more concrete terms of, like, okay, like, literally, what do we need to do? Not like, what fucking mindset do I need to be in? The mindset you need to be in is always grind set. If you're not in grind set, you should be very relaxed and not doing anything, basically. Otherwise, grind set. But I'm not too concerned about the overall status of the fates. It's not going to change the way I behave. So I don't really get a lot out of that kind of mysticism, I guess. Have I gotten any more of these? Tulu with $5. Doi toshimashite. Have you ever thought about getting a VTuber avatar? Yes. I've thought about getting multiple VTuber avatars. I actually have one designed. It's just not rigged. Daniel Desault, who designed the Vito-chan, if you don't know Vito, the co-host of The Biggest Problem in the Universe with Dick Masterson, Vito has a VTuber girl called Vito-chan that he streams with sometimes, and was designed by this guy. I thought it looked really good, so I commissioned him to do one of the Golden Witch, and so I have a Golden Witch VTuber. But at the time that I bought this, that I commissioned this, rather, I just didn't have the money to actually commission the rigging. So, like, I basically was like, yeah, this is just gonna have to wait until I have, like, money to really throw down on, like, completing this whole arc. It was like something I really thought I was going to be able to do right away, and then I didn't have the money, and I was like, well, this can wait. But yeah, I'd love to do it, because I think I'm not that into being on screen. I haven't been doing any on screen in these recent live streams. It's a huge pain in the ass to set up. It's really hard to make yourself look nice. I don't think it adds that much for me. Whereas I do think that having an on-screen avatar would add more. I could also do voices and stuff, and it would contextually make sense to, like, do a voice that matches the character that's on screen. So yeah, it would be fun to do VTuber style. And I've also had an interest in, like, like, other projects outside of the Golden Witch where I could have VTuber personas. So, whether or not those would even be tied enough to it for me to mention them, I do not know. I love that the $50 super chat stays on screen for so long, just sitting there, like, letting everybody know this happened. And it's impressive and cool, and I'm happy about it. Thank you again. Alright, I've read all the super chats, so let's see what's happening in the regular chat since the last super chat. As a teenager, I could relate more to those anime. Yeah, I mean, at the time, for sure. Is there drama between Trixie and Trash Taste? No. Why? Where did you get that impression? Did I say something drama? I just said they were Coomers. I don't think that's untrue. No, I have no drama at all with Trash Taste. I don't. The only people that I have drama with are people I wouldn't give the time of day to mention in a public forum. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't really have drama with them. True Fox 1 with $5. For incest anime, does it make a difference to you whether or not they're blood related? I know some people feel that a step-sibling is a cop-out. I absolutely feel that way. Maybe less so now, because maybe just because the taboo doesn't mean as much to me. I don't know. Like, I definitely always looked at it as like, well, what the fuck is the point of the half measure? But like, at first to me, it seemed like a censorship thing, like because I know that there are times where like characters that were outright related in like a light novel or visual novel were like made to be slant related or less related in the adaptations. So I think part of it is avoiding controversy. Part of it is trying to make it more accessible to people who don't want to go that distance, and like, so to me, it really just requires an investigation of, okay, well, what is the fetish here? Like, what's the point? And when you think of it from that angle, I actually feel less like, I actually feel more like, oh, whatever. If you capture even the essence of it, you're basically doing the same thing. Because what I consider to be like little sister moe basically is like, this person has always known you. Like, they are completely familiar with you. Nothing about you is surprising, like, and if they're in love with you, then it means, like, in spite of knowing all that, they accept you to the level of abjectly being in love with you, And, like, I know this is mostly a fantasy that is only enjoyed by people who do not have little sisters. Like, a joke is made about that in Genshiken, and my friend who was big into anime with me, at the time that I was first getting big into it, he also had that opinion. He was like, yeah, just, the little sister doesn't quite do it for me because I have a slutty little sister and it's not fun. We're not friends, but like, in anime, I understand why, like, a sister or cousin, like, the appeal is like, okay, yeah, this person, like, has a deeper connection to you, and therefore it also gives them, like, an element of inseparability, because, and this is partially depending on how you regard family. I think people who have weaker family ties also probably don't, probably wouldn't be as into the little sister types because they don't see family as like innately trustworthy or people who are there for you, whereas like if you're somebody who has a lot of trust in your family and you're kind of imagining like, oh man, what if I had one of these relationships but it had been sexual, and I could have explored my sexuality at this or that stage, because I had this person that was, fantastically attracted to me in spite of our relation. I understand this fantasy. And so, like, I think that regardless of whether they are literally related, you can get most of those emotions out of a lot of different character scenarios. So, like, as long as you're just, like, evoking that specific type of emotion, there's also a lot of the time where it's, like, lost connection, where it's like a person who you didn't grow up with, who you're related to, but because of the fact that you're bonded by blood, there's this sense that like, oh well, there's you were bound to meet again because you have to, like, how could you not end up meeting someone that you're related to? So like, yeah. And I also think a lot of that stuff is even more romanticized in like particularly Southeast Asian cultures where like they've never really questioned the like that it is romantic to the same degree, I guess, where I don't know, it seems like Americans in particular, in spite of the fact that like, a large section of America is sort of stereotyped as being like very incestuous, we really look down on it here. Like, we really just see incest as like wholly disgusting and worthy of mockery, whereas I just don't think it's felt that way in places where it's just a lot more common. I think of the Philippines as a place that is sort of known to be deeply incestuous in that way. And it's just kind of like, well, it's just the way it is, like they're not asking themselves the same questions that we are before getting into a relationship, I guess. Where the fuck did my souls drop exactly? Does it not show you that on the map? It should be that way. Where the oh, I was over in fucking Liurnia, wasn't I? Where the fuck was I at? Over here? Oh. I think I was over here. Man, I didn't expect to get invaded there or killed there. I didn't know. I guess I haven't been to this spot. Well, I have been to this site of grace before, but maybe I got murdered last time I was here and forgot about it or something. Let's see if I get invaded again hanging out here. I can't fucking ride my hoist. Yep, okay. Usually if you can't ride the hoist, that means you're getting invaded. This is a really cool spot. I like this little secluded shack. I hope this guy fucks off so I can hang out here. Hey, stop it with that. Oh yeah, I just suddenly had that moment where I remembered how to play the game. So let's try some of this. Yeah. Nope, nope, nope. Come on, come on. Come at me, bro. Yeah. Nope. No, that wasn't good. Yes, I got him. He did. Oh, he did. Can you feel it everywhere? +8 halberd. Ooh. I was not expecting, wasn't expecting weapon, rather. Okay, let's see. Banished Knight's halberd. This looks pretty good. I guess it's not as strong as my sword because it's not as upgraded. But it is very fucking good. Let's give it a shot. Seems like a fun thing to use. I was using a halberd through the early part of the game, so... Oh, it matches my shield really good, too. This is sick. This is a cool Golden Witch outfit to have. I want to see if I can situate a nice screen grab somewhere around here. I like this spot. This is my fucking turf now. Now that asshole... Used to be a bunch of assholes that lived in this part of the building here, but we systematically removed them like you would any kind of termite or roach. Alright, I like that. Print screen. Cool shit. Hopefully I'll remember to open up Microsoft Paint and keep that screen cap later. Alright, what's happening in chat world? I was talking about incest. I guess I finished my point about that. It's really more about the sentiment than about the literal relationship between the characters, but I understand why people would be upset about going halfway, you know? For some reason, Mike Hunt is talking about Elliot Rodger in the chat. I don't know what happened here. I don't know what's going on. No, I was not fighting another player there. I was fighting a in-game NPC. Hence why he dropped me such a sick weapon, and also some Shabriri grapes, which are something that I can give to this blind girl that allows her to continue on her journey. She can't see without the Shabriri grapes. Get off me, big thing. This thing sucks. I thought this thing was going to be fine, but it turned out it wasn't. You know what? I don't even want to fight you. You're being a little asshole. Alright. I think I got another thing that unlocks one of the 4 belfries. Let's go do that. That sounds like a fucking weird fun time. We've got another Australian $2 from Mike Hunt. Would you ever team up with Monkey Jones again? I don't know. It really depends on the context. I'm the type of person to never say never about pretty much anything. So I'm not going to say it could never happen. I just don't know why it would. The main, kind of thing that, like, drove Monkey and I together at the time was that we were both, like, trying to be pretty edgy, but also in, like, the epic grind set of, like, we're going to make videos nonstop constantly. And we were both doing anime reviews, supposedly. Like, Monkey's videos weren't really anime reviews, but, like, it was close enough conceptually that it made some type of sense for us to work together. but mostly it was just that I liked his content and wanted to work with him at the time. Like, that was the main thing compelling that to happen, was I was like, hey, anybody I think does good stuff and can work at the rate I can is somebody who I was interested in working with, because most people just, you can't, there's not a lot of people who are willing to, like, just kind of turn on a mic and go like, on the dot every couple days or whatever, the way that I am or that he is. So, like, those kinds of people can be very helpful to work with. But, like, I don't know, nothing we did was exceptionally successful or anything like that. The ISMA podcast was fun, but I don't know. I feel like we took that as far as we needed to. I don't think it is something that needed to be continued. I ended up doing it for a while with the Unknown Otaku. I don't know. It just kind of, it petered out for me. I feel like I lost interest in that type of humor. So, I definitely wouldn't be doing that type of thing. So, yeah, I just don't really see there being a good reason that would happen. But I'm not saying it's impossible, because I don't like saying things are impossible. Let's go to Karia Manor. I fucking basically just, like, stepped into this place and stepped the fuck out because it was terrifying. True Fox 1 with $5. Doi Tashimashite says, Rodrio asked a good question. Do you still agree with your weird anime sex and why it's always okay video? I don't think it was always. It's just why it's okay. But, yeah, I think so. I don't remember exactly what I said in that video, but I don't remember saying anything that I would necessarily disagree with now. I would probably make, like, that video is especially old because that script was actually written in 2014, I think, as an Endless Jess style mock-up. Like, I tried to write a video in the styles of, like, several people I knew back to back, and I don't think I ended up releasing any of them, but one of them was that one, and it was, like, my Jess style video. And then, eventually it, like, just became a relevant conversation, so I finally adapted it into a video. But it had a lot of my face and my ex, so I'm not really interested in ever relisting that one. But I don't remember the sentiment being disagreeable. I will probably eventually make a video, like another video, talking about... Yeah, well, I don't know. I really like the approach of just kind of case by case talking about sexuality in anime as opposed to in a broad scope, because, each thing really should be judged on its own merits and demerits, and, like, if I'm going to have conversations, I think I'd probably prefer to have conversations about specific shows than trying to, like, just defend all anime sex as a broad issue, because I don't know. I don't think the cultural tide is working against that right now. I think we're winning that one. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep using this halberd because I might be needing the damage output of my sword. Where's my bastard sword? I also have this heavy Zweihander +7. But Bloody Bastard Sword +10 is where it is the fuck at. Would I go on Trash Taste It Fast? Absolutely. Especially because that would involve a trip to Japan, which I would love to do. But yeah, why wouldn't I? Seems like a fun time. I would go on a lot of shows if asked. I don't get asked to go on shows. I think it's gonna take a while before I've repaired my sort of public image to a level where people want me to be involved with them again. Because I'll tell you, I've had feelers out there in the world. You know, I've got a producer. He tries to set me up with opportunities sometimes, and people Google me, and they don't like what happens when they Google me. So I don't, I don't think I'm really gonna be that invited to a lot of stuff until like I'm unavoidable again, because I was unavoidable at a time, and I didn't really appreciate the power in that, you know. I guess I didn't realize how easy it was to become avoidable again, but it's okay. We'll be there. You remember when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars, and then they asked him to leave, and he just simply said no? That's the most unavoidable you can be as a human being. Let's see here. Otaku Heart with $2. Rant about NTR. Neto Rare. It's when it's the Steal Yo Girl shit. I've never really gotten it. I've never been. The only perspective that I could understand would be the one stealing the girl. Because then you're just fucking a chick, you know, like from your perspective. I mean, I guess maybe sometimes they're like, you know, oh, this is that guy's. This is I'm banging homie's bae, but it's usually just like girl walks off and goes be a slut with some dude, you know, is like from what I've seen anyway. And I don't know. I don't relate. I don't relate to whatever people are getting out of it. What am I doing here? What is happening? Oh. It says pillage remains, but nothing is here. Oh, he's underneath it. But yeah, NTR... Like, I made a video that was explaining what I understand to be the appeal, which is basically just that you could connect with any of the three characters, you know, like, whichever side of, I think, rather I should say, the reason I think NTR is as popular as it is as a genre is because of the fact that there are, you know, three different fetishes basically being fulfilled all at once. I basically came to understand that because of Econ, who is a fan of NTR, and I was like, well, which person do you want to be in this scenario? And he's just like, well, it depends on the story. It could be any of them. And I was like, okay, that makes sense, you know. But yeah, it's just like it's not a type of thing that I'm really looking for in my pornography. But I also don't really consume much story-driven pornography, like, or don't pay attention to the story. I really just care about the artwork and like the, you know, like posing, positioning, the way the line work, the way the characters look, like it can be hot conceptually in a single image, or like, you know, in terms of what is happening, but I don't usually bother like with the actual story unless like I'm consuming it for the story and not for the pornography. But then that's a whole different type of show, you know, like Shumatsu no Harem. Like, fuck. You have a producer? Yeah, Riley. He's we do a podcast together. I mean, he's not really doing he's not producing for Yig Studio right now anymore, but he still works with me like privately apart from the channel. He's not like a producer in the sense of like you know, like a Hollywood person getting me movie jobs, but he's basically doing, I mean, he is actually pretty much doing that where he can. He's really good at finding gigs. It's just a matter of the fact that, like I said, I have a very poisonous name, so the few opportunities that I probably would have had, you know, have been a struggle. Australian $2. Does the weird part of YouTube still exist? Almost certainly. I mean, you've always got a deep dive to find it. I've never been like a super deep YouTube spelunker. I'm fucking terrible at finding shit. This is why I'm always asking like people for recommendations and stuff. Like, I don't find enough stuff to keep me entertained at all. And it's a huge problem. Like, let's say I sit down with dinner, you know, like tonight I had this plate with fucking macaroni and cheese and steak. And I'm like, I want to watch a video while I eat this. And I'm sitting there on the YouTube and there's nothing new in my subscriptions tab. And I go to the new to you page and I scroll until it won't generate me new videos anymore. And I can't find anything I want to watch. And I don't know where to look to find other, like, you know, I don't always want to watch shows. That kind of more, you know, if I watch a show, I'm going to want to pay attention and write an analysis video about it. But like with a YouTube video, I can just kind of chill and decompress and listen to someone talk about Bomberman for 8 hours, which is, you know, thank God that happened at least. Slinky with $5. Doi tashimashite. If you want to learn more kanji, get Remembering the Kanji. Instead of going through 2,200, though, mark kanji you're interested in. It's more manageable. I'm hoping I'm going to learn a lot of them through Duolingo. I don't know how deep it goes in, but I have probably learned more kanji already in the 12 days I've been using it than I knew before. Because, like, you know, I attended 3 years of high school Japanese, but I didn't do very well in it. So, like, using Duolingo has been like, okay, I know I learned most of this stuff at some point, but like I had forgotten a lot of it, or I had very incomplete knowledge, and so it's like I've been filling in the blanks of my knowledge of Japanese. And also, like, it starts hitting you with kanji, like, as soon as you know certain words. I've gotten a lot better at recognizing them. So, like, I've gotten good at recognizing sensei and gakusei and you know, sakana and niku and all them good kanjis, all them good very baby level kanjis. So yeah, you know, maybe I'll pick up that book once I've progressed deeper into my Duolingo lessons and I'm really getting into the thick of kanji and really having to like learn shit, because that's the hardest part, but it's also the most important part to me, because you know, reading manga is like by far the biggest reason I would want to know Japanese. Well, manga and Japanese interviews, like being able to just dive into, you know, all the stuff that I've been limited by my language barrier, be a huge power upgrade. Also, just being able to watch anime raw and not have to worry about the shitty subtitles, and you know, I could also like. If I, when I'm fluent in Japanese, I'm going to try my hand at translating, because I could see that as a long-term final career for me, as like an actual practical skill that could be useful in the long term, because I'm really good at it. Like, what little Japanese I know, I'm very good at translating and making sound good in English, because I'm good at writing in English, and I'm good at editing, writing, and, you know, good at proofreading. So, like, I think I would be a really, really good translator, and I've always kind of been upset with myself that that's not what I do. Like, the fact that it's something I think I'm capable of means it's something I should be doing. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and say right now, long-term ambition, I'm going to learn Japanese and start translating shit. I will probably do some professional jobs and then on the side do my own uncredited fan work. Or, you know, pseudonymously, if that's a word, credited. Anonymously. No, I already said that. What is it? Is it pseudonymously? Is that what you say if you release something under a pseudonym, that you released it pseudonymously? I don't know. I don't know if these are words. I will read that super chat in just a second because I am worried about this big giant monster that's attacking me. And I'm going to get away from him. I assume he can get up here, but probably not through this gate. Oh, this looks like a fucking boss arena. This looks scary. Alright, let's go read this super chat before we end up in a boss fight or something. We've got In Love with a Ghost with €5. Doi Tashimashite. Do you intend to collaborate with the Devu again at some point? Her aesthetic suited your content a lot. Also, you should watch Tokimeki Tonight. It's great. I know I've heard of Tokimeki Tonight, but I don't remember what it is. I don't think the Devu is probably that interested in doing video editing work anymore, so I don't really see that kind of collaboration happening. She's been working on her video game and actually did put out a YouTube video or two somewhat recently. But as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I am aware, she's much more, independently focused and trying to do her own thing. I was really a baby about editing for a long time. Devu is a much better editor than I have ever been, and was willing to go that extra mile, and I was willing to pay to have that extra mile put into my videos, but it wasn't a good financial decision on my part always necessarily when I could have been editing my own videos and doing it fast. I was just such a baby about editing for most of my career, and it really was in 2018 when I did that video every day for a month. Because I had Devu editing the Shinsekai Yori video while I did all the other ones. And by the end of that, I had just gotten so fast that I kind of felt I like having an editor to do heavier stuff in the background, but it just didn't seem like it led to it always led to more views. Having better editing didn't really correspond with making more money or getting more eyeballs on the content. And if I can and am willing to do it as fast as possible, then that's just going to profit me way more than trying to pay an editor. That's why I haven't hired anybody else to take Devu's place, because it's not viable for me to now granted, if let's say I were signed to, or let's say I worked for something like Screenwave Media that Tony from Hack the Movies works for, where they have a team. If they were assigning me an editor, and let's say they took a cut of all my profit, or rather I was paid a paycheck, but ultimately was a star talent or something that just drove views to the channel, they would probably have editors who are ready to edit for all of the people who work on that channel. It's not me hiring an editor and telling them what to do. It's there's a formula that we have for this company that, that I could pass work off to. That kind of system I would be more likely to have an editor, because in a situation like that, I would just be writing scripts constantly. I wouldn't take any time aside to edit anything or do any of the extra parts. I would just be the person who writes scripts and does voices. Probably does my own. Well, I probably wouldn't even do my own voice editing, because I'm not as good at it as somebody who would be dedicated to doing that full time. So yeah, I would just write and voice. Those are the two things I'm really, really good at. I shouldn't really be involved in any other part of the process, but cost effectively, not worth it for me to hire an editor, unless it was above my head, above my decision making as part of the corporation that was my content, should it be such a thing. I don't think I'm gonna beat this boss, but I want my fucking souls back. You can't even use the horse, even though you're fighting a boss on a horse. That's really suck. No, stop. I don't want to be here. I want to be somewhere else. I don't want to fight you. I don't want to lose 28,000 runes to you, you asshole. Can I go up these stairs? Where does this go? Is there an escape from this boss room? Is that a thing in this game? Because I don't think that was ever a thing before. There's got to be a reason this whole area exists. Maybe it just makes it easier to... Yeah, it makes it easier to not get hit with all the fucking... Ah! Okay. Well, you fell like a dumb asshole. And you're gone. Where the hell are you? Well, I'm probably going to lose this boss and lose these runes. So I'm just going to make peace with that so that I can go back to being an entertaining podcast host and not an enraged video gamer. Or maybe I'll win. Maybe I'll pull ahead and this will be miraculous and astounding. And no, I'm dead. Okay, yeah, I give up. I'm not going to fight this fucking asshole. Tokimeki tonight. I'm trying to remember what that is. Trying to get a mental image of it. Pseudonymously is the right way to say it. Okay. Pseudonymously. Pseudonymously? Pseudonymously. Do you have the wondrous physic that lets you keep runes on death? Probably. Now you're thinking. Someone's thinking in this room. It's not me, obviously. Fuck, I would have had to have done that at the site of grace, right? Unless I have it in my flask. But I don't know what's in my flask. All of that happened. So, well, let's just go fight the fucking boss with all these stat buffs then. Let's see what happens. Oh boy. I've been having a good time with you all tonight. This has been a good dark hour stream. I've made some pretty good super chat money. Answered some pretty interesting questions. You know, spoke in a nice low dulcet tone, trying not to wake up my husband in the other room, sleeping for mountaineering in the morning. Because that's what he does. He's like a mountain person. Alright, we're going to patiently destroy this asshole. I totally missed. I whiffed. That wasn't patient at all. It's nothing patient about a whiff. Oh, but there is something incredible about happening to go under the opponent's weapon while you're charging your attack. That was kind of them to miss just as badly as I had done moments prior. No, it didn't work out the same way as before. Alright, well, we'll find out what was in my wondrous physic in just a second. And if I kept my runes. Nope. It's not looking like it. Alright, let's visit the last site of grace to see if we have that and we can mix it in with a thing. What's happening in Chatland? Tell me pretty words. Opinions on Rin, Daughters of Mnemosyne? I haven't finished it, but I do want to. Keep seeing YouTube shorts about an anime where the main character loses weight so a girl would fall in love with him and he can reject her. In the comments, keep calling the guy confident. Do you think anime fans have a bad relation to confidence, which causes them to idolize narcissism? Yes, but also, I'm pretty sure that was the show you're talking about. Is that show was the My Dress Up Darling of its time. It was fuck. It was like the popular, you know, teen rom-com. I had a video about it, but it got fucking blocked. And it's like the one video I've never bothered trying to get back because I just didn't care enough, I think. I can't remember the name of it, though. Tokimeki Tonight is like Anime Addams Family with the most relatable main character. Ah. Yeah, somebody had a video about that show that I remember watching. I'll have to find out about it. Okay, that's right. I was going to try and mix a wondrous physic and see if I could keep my runes. If I have a thing that lets me do that. Let's see what all this stuff does. It does not look like I have anything that will do that. But I do think I have the item that lets you do it. I don't know if it's worth using for 28k souls. How much do I need to level up? That's the real question. Okay, I could be leveling up with that amount of souls, actually. So we're going to go ahead and make sure we have the item that lets us do the thing. I don't remember where it will be in my inventory, or if I already passed it. Lose all runes? No, that's the opposite of the one I want. Rune acquisition. Somebody said something about a twig. I'm pretty sure it's a twig. Maybe it's not in this menu, but I thought that was like all items. Ugh. Maybe I don't have one. I thought I remembered picking one of these things up at some point. Fuck. I don't really see myself beating this boss. It was really dumb of me to go in there to what I knew looked like a boss room, carrying so many souls. I really think I just was in the mindset that it wasn't that many, that like 28k wouldn't be that bad to lose, because I don't think I knew it was enough to level up. That was really dumb thinking of me. It's a talisman, you say? A talisman, okay. Do I have that talisman? Oh, will be lost on death in place of runes. Okay, here we go. We have the sacrificial twig. Thank you, chat. Alright, unfortunately I spawned myself all the way back at the site of grace instead of at the stake of Marika, because I thought I'd be mixing a wondrous physic. Which means we're going to have to run past this asshole again. And hopefully he doesn't have some kind of one-hit kill asshole move. Juke harder! I feel like my running speed could be better. Maybe I need to put more into endurance. Alright, this is the fog gate. Let me in. I will read the super chat just in a second. I just want to get my fucking runes. And then he can kill me if he wants to, but I'll put up a fight. No, don't pass him. Don't pass him. No. This is not good. This is not. No. Oh. All is lost. All is lost. What have I done? What have I done? But I, Trixie, the Golden Witch, will keep playing Elden Ring. Alright, let's read some comments. God damn it. I fucking lost my runes. And the twig. Oh, the talisman effect prevented me from losing my runes? How great. How nice. All 0. Storm with $10. Doi Tashimashite. You mentioned the other day that the thing keeping you from playing a trading card game is the investment. Are you otherwise interested in card games as games? I mean, like, if you mean trading card games, yes. I mean, I have played them growing up. If you mean, like, non-trading card games, less so. Okay, when I was a kid, when I was like 5, I want to say, I was introduced to Magic the Gathering, and me and my mom would play Magic the Gathering. Like, we had starter decks, we had a couple booster packs here and there, and I was into it. And like, there were a lot of older people like that my parents knew who were into the game, but I was really like daunted by the thought of, trying to interact with, like, people I don't know. I was a very fucking shy kid. I just wanted to play Magic with my mom, and when my brother Shade was born, my mom really did not have time to play Magic with me anymore. And Victor was too young to understand how to read the cards, so I had nobody to play it with. Pokemon got popular, and then that was the first time that, like, I could play a game with other kids my age because they would actually learn how to read and use the cards and everything. So I was really heavily into Pokemon trading card game for a while. I went to the league every weekend at Toys R Us or at the local comic store. I have tons of promo cards. I have thousands and thousands of Pokemon cards. So definitely have a lot of experience with trading card games. And I got really into Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2002. Did League for that as well. It's just as an adult, like, the main thing is that, like, your cards become obsolete really easily. Like, it's a thing you have to always keep up with. You don't really feel like you're getting... People act like it's an investment to buy trading cards, because they're going to be worth something in the future. But, like, as a game, they're definitely not going to be worth something in the future. Like, their cards depreciate in their strategic value immensely, and so, like, that feeling like, oh, you constantly have to keep up with the new cards and everything, and memorize all this shit to even know, like, what's worth using. It's just a lot. It's a lot of investment of time and money. But as for, like, regular playing cards, I don't really know a lot of games with them. I feel like there's one that I like I can't remember the name of, so it's not even worth bringing up. Yeah, they're all right. Cards are cool. I can't really see playing a digital card game as much because it's missing the tactile element. Though I do remember playing the Pokemon trading card game on GBA, and a Yu-Gi-Oh game on GBA as well that I didn't like as much. So I don't know. Maybe I could give it a shot. The last thing I want to do is disappear my life into a game like Hearthstone or something, though. So, like, I don't know. I have my obsession that consumes my whole life, and it's making analysis videos. So I don't know, I'm not necessarily looking for another one to tack on. Let's see what else we've got here in the super chats. $2 from True Fox 1. Do itashimashite. Have you seen any anime which have made you cry lately? Oh man. I'm about to finish Eureka 7, so we'll see what happens when we get to the last few episodes of that, because historically, that's a show that's made me cry. Fuck. Has anything made me cry lately? Oh yeah, Mushoku Tensei. That was the least expected cry I have had in an anime in a long time. I didn't expect anything in that show to make me emotional. The end of the first season, the last 2 episodes are kind of hype and interesting. It got me thinking. And so I already was, like, more invested in the show than I expected to be. The early episodes of season 2, I was kind of like, oh, whatever, it's all right. But then when you get to the scene where Roxy goes home to meet her parents for the first time in, like, 15, 20 years or whatever, and just this painfully awkward meeting... And, the whole scene of her and her mom, like, crying and hugging it out. Yeah, it got to me. I started crying. And, like big time. Like, choking up, fucking holding back, trying not to be too loud, like that kind of cry. So, yeah, good on Mushoku Tensei, I guess, for managing to pull that off somehow in the middle of season 2, totally unexpectedly. Whoa, that hand is following me outside the hand. I didn't expect it to follow me out here. And now I'm getting shot by the fucking sentinel lasers. Oh, shit, I didn't know it could do this. Oh, no, this is ungood. This is double plus ungood, and I didn't actually heal. No. Okay. Get off me. I don't want this. This is bad touch. Bad touch. Can I sit at this? Yes, thank you. Please make it all go away. Can you take it all away? Mike Hunt with $2 Australian. Rant about Destiny's debate tactics. I mean, I haven't watched a Destiny debate in a really long time, so I can't even say what his debate tactics are at this point. You know, I argued with him ages ago, and as I understand it, he's changed a lot since then. At least from what I've seen from other people who interact with him and talk about him online. So, you know, but I have never watched one of his live streams or anything, so I can't really tell you exactly like what his debate tactics are. I can tell you that he's really good at getting people hot under the collar by being a you know, just being very dismissive and looking down on you, but it does a great job to put him in a position to make himself look better than you in an argument. So, you know, again, I can only speak from the limited experience I've had in talking to him ages ago. Seems like an interesting dude. I heard I heard that his relationship became a closed relationship after years, so congratulations on that one. Oh, Jesus, these guys hit like a fucking brick shit house. This place looks like a spooky cave. We've got more super chat. Storm with $5. Doi tashimashite. I'm making a card game. It's mechanically like Magic the Gathering, but self-contained like a board game. Would you be interested in it? It'll be free, of course. Hey, if you send it to me, I'll have it. I'll find somebody who will play it with me, and I'll play it. Most likely, Bird's brother, because he's really into board games and board card games. So I would bring it around and sort of be like, hey, let's play this game and see if it's any good by the standards of somebody who plays these games. I have played the types of games you're talking about, like, you know, card-driven board games or tabletop card games, I guess would be the more appropriate way to describe it. Some of them can be kind of fun. I've played some that were kind of fun. Can't really remember any off the top of my head. Not a huge tabletop gamer. Mostly because it takes a lot of patience to set them up usually and like remember all the rules, and I tend to be more creatively driven than systems driven as a person, you know? I like games like this that are kind of loose and free form. But although I'm not really into like creativity games like Minecraft. I just like games that don't really tell you to do anything specific necessarily. It's just like, hey, fuck around and hit stuff with a sword. All right, whack. Yeah, where does this lead? Oh shit, it leads to hell. Well, hell looks pretty cool. Let's go down there. Whack. I got a land octopus ovary off one of the small ones. Usually you get those off the big ones. I'm going in a mysterious path I didn't know existed. This is probably the alternate way to get to the Atlas Plateau. I'm skipping ahead in the game. I'm making actual progress beyond where I've been. Seeing new things, new lands to explore. Places that don't bore me like the ones I've been before. I implore you explore, find out more. What's behind each door is a mystery until you see. It's poison and midgets with well, that's not a politically correct word. And tiny guys with fucking bladed weapons. I really need to work on my language. Illusion with check 20. If you won a lottery jackpot, what would you do? Buy everything. Buy the world. Buy humanity. I don't know, how much money do I get? Like 60 million? Buy land. Buy security for my land. I don't know. Stay on the land. What am I supposed to do with money? With like a jackpot amount. I want a house and a car and a land. Like a truck that I can drive around on the land. And then go adventure. Probably a lot of plane tickets. Yeah. I'll just live like a MySpace Tom. You know, just decide that the rest of my life is going to be one gorgeous Instagram post. And go do that. Okay. Get away from all these small guys. They are mean, and they have big sword. They inspire outdated epithets to spring from my tongue. Like some 1920s house husband or something from like a sitcom who's racist. But not against a race, but instead against little people. You know what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm putting down? You catch my drift? Do you understand? Do you understand? Do you understand? I probably was supposed to be on that lift. Get over here, you little bastard. Thank you. This is the silence of being politically correct and not singing short people have no reason to live after murdering a bunch of tiny people in a video game. Alright, what's going on in chat world? George Ripley says, not medically transitioned. I mean, that would obviously... I guess if I... how far would I go if I had infinite money is an interesting question. You can make yourself look however you want with money. I don't know... I'm not the type of person who thinks that making changes to my appearance would be worth the risk involved in like having surgeries. So like, you know, I would obviously complete my hormone treatment, and I would buy a lot of nice clothes, and you know, and probably hire a stylist to make me look nice at all times. But I wouldn't be trying to fundamentally alter the makeup of my body. You know, like, money is not the thing preventing me from doing that. That's, ooh, I didn't expect explosion. What the fuck was that about? I didn't know those things could blow up on you. The best, if you ever find yourself with excess money, the best thing you can do is find a way to make it into more money. Yeah, I mean, that's actually step one before even purchase anything, is put like 75% of it into, or literally just anything I'm not going to use immediately is going to go into investments. You know, like, there's no reason to keep money on you if it could be in a place that makes more sense. You know, it's like whatever I don't need for everyday life, straight into fucking I-bonds and Bitcoin and whatever the fuck else ridiculous money-making scheme I want to get involved with. I have to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to go pee really quick before I answer this. Okay, I'm back. I got myself a Baby Bell cheese wheel. I'm gonna unwrap it while I look at these super chats. True Fox 1 with $2 says, do you have any interest in owning pets? Yeah. You know, I didn't for a long time, but now that I'm with somebody who is really good at caring for and caring about pets and who really wants pets and who, through whom I have spent more time around. First of all, the house I live in right now has 4 dogs. If you haven't seen any pictures of them, there's some on my Instagram. But I currently live with 4 dogs. 2 of them... Hold on, I'll be right back. So I went to get back up because speak of the devil, and he summons you into the other room. No, my husband is sleeping. He's a cutie. He was in bed looking all adorable, and he's like, what's going on? And I was like, I'm live streaming because nobody's home right now except for us. So it's, it's rare I get to live stream at night, and I wanted to give a chance for all the people who miss all the daytime streams to get a chance to super chat. But yes, I am interested in owning pets. Currently, the ones I live with are 2 older, half poodle, half something else I don't remember, that are pretty adorable, very fluffy. And then a 1-year-old German Shepherd who is, she's very hyperactive and energetic and adorable. She always wants attention. And she goes to work with one of my family members every day. So that's cool. She's part of a work community. And then there's the little tiny dog Chico. He's like a little chihuahua, like a fluffy chihuahua. He looks like a skunk. And so the dogs have been nice, and hanging out with them, particularly the German Shepherd, who is just a blast to play with, has definitely had us like, yeah, we gotta have dogs. I think we're probably going to be taking the Chihuahua and maybe even one of the poodles with us when we leave. I don't know if that'll be immediately, because I don't know if the place we get will last, but yeah. Bird really wants to have a greyhound and, like, more than anything, he wants a greyhound, but then a husky to go with it as the ultimate summer-winter combo. Arkalam with $5. Doi Tashimashite. I've noticed a lot of anime fans are autistic, including me. Do you think there's something about anime that makes autistic people gravitate towards it? Yes. Big time. For one, it's not subtle. Anime is the opposite of subtle. In order for you to understand what the characters are feeling, they make the expressions extremely obvious to the point that it's exaggerated, and, like, the fact that, like, when you look at a human face and it makes a subtle change, you might not think that change matters, but, like, in animation, because you knew they had to put the effort into drawing every single thing, like, you have to ask yourself why it was drawn, almost. Like, yeah, every face, of course, matters. Like, and even then, a lot of anime just re-explains itself a lot. It's very, like, it's easy to follow, basically, on an emotional level, because the emotions are writ so large. I also think that most people who make anime are autistic, so it's just kind of a, it's like a club. Like, it's an autistic club, basically. And I can't even go into it as deep as I would, because it becomes a repellent conversation, and you start talking about autism too broadly. A lot of people get upset. But to me, anime is like an inherently autistic medium to some degree. It's kind of like what would attract someone to this medium. There's only so many answers to that question. But comes in all forms and sizes, and everybody has their own experiences. And when you start talking about stuff in a way that sounds like you're talking about someone else's experience that they didn't have, it can be very upsetting. So, I try to avoid saying that, like, oh yeah, it's literally just all autism all the way down, but sometimes it feels that way. Sometimes it gets really hard to describe an anime character and not use the word autistic. Fuck. Okay, got him. But yeah, I think there's a lot of different aspects of why, like, autistic people are drawn to cartoons in particular. Especially, like, I don't know, maybe it's just, like, the lack of the impression that you are meant to grow out of something, or like the lack of understanding of why that would be something you're supposed to do. Like, I was a fan of Thomas the Tank Engine as a little kid. I never got hugely into it, and then I sort of reached an age where I sort of understood that, like, okay, Thomas the Tank Engine is for people younger than me now. Like, I can handle things that are a little bit more advanced than this, or just naturally took an interest in things more advanced than that, because it pushes me harder. Still to this day, this is happening, where, like, stuff I wouldn't have been interested in when I was 20, I am now, because, like, I get it in a way I didn't before. So it's like, naturally I want to see the thing that corresponds. But, like, as an autistic person, I feel like you can keep burrowing into the thing that you like and drawing more out of it. Obviously I did this with My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, and, like, I sort of discovered how extremely autistic that fan base was through the process of doing the videos. But, like, it made perfect sense, because it's like, you can look, like, this thing is comforting in the way that something you enjoy as a child is, and sort of, like, non-threatening, and it speaks to you in a way where it's trying to get you to understand, as opposed to, like, expecting you to meet it halfway or something like that. And so, like, that overtness is very attractive, I think. And then the fact that there is subtlety behind it that I can dive into is what makes it like, okay, well, I can stay attached to this thing. But I am frankly just less autistic than a lot of, the members of the communities of the stuff I talk about. So, like, I've really been trying to find a careful middle ground of, like, what type of media I talk about, where, like, certain stuff that is very autistically appealing tends to be the stuff that, like, the fan base is going to really brutalize me if I don't know everything about this. Mushoku Tensei would be a pretty good example, actually. Like, even though I have a positive review, you can still read comments on those videos where people are so defensive about their relationship with the show, and care about it in such an intimate level of detail that, like, I can't relate to, being invested in a show on that level. And so I try not to talk about shows as much that have that kind of appeal, unless I, in that case, it was like, I figured out what's good about this show. People will like to hear me talk about it. And even then, I'm not singing quite the level of praise that the really hardcore fans would want me to be singing. But they're satisfied in a kind of, a side glance kind of way. Like, oh, all right. All right, I guess this is a good Mushoku Tensei video, but you don't really love Mushoku Tensei, whereas, like, the Shumatsu no Harem crowd, it's a slightly different feel, where it's like, yeah, we don't expect anybody to be obsessed with this. We recognize this thing is kind of off or not great, but, like, has an interesting side to it. I don't know. That show really hit the sweet spot for me of, like, the type of anime I want to talk about and, like, who I think it appeals to and, like, what I think is, like, the core intrigue of my videos and content and who's into it. It's, like, the kind of people who'd like that video. So, that was a really fun one to have made. I died and I lost my runes and I don't want to really go back and get them again. I don't like this area. I don't like fighting these little dudes with the spears and the saws. Andrew Engelman with $5 says, I find it odd that you think anime in general isn't subtle. Back when Belle was still in theaters, most people I talked to didn't understand it at all. Doi tashimashite. It's subtle in different ways. Like, I'm talking about subtle on, like, the moment-to-moment level of, like, the experience. Like, I haven't seen Belle. Going by the trailers, it doesn't look like a subtle movie at all. Maybe the theming is subtle, or, I guess it's, like I said, subtle in different ways. And I also feel like a lot of Western fans of anime actually don't get a lot of the subtlety that comes out of the shows that are more subtle. I feel like the subtlety is not the biggest reason for the appeal of anime, even when it is on the more subtle side. But, like, thinking about, I haven't seen Belle yet, but thinking about Mamoru Hosoda's other films, they are very explosive. They're very loud films. They're very emotionally over the top and very evident about what they're, like, like, what's going on and what everyone's feeling. So, like, there is a subtlety in the theming and the messaging and, like, what the movie actually means, but, like, that doesn't mean that you would have difficulty telling what is, like, what you're supposed to feel. You know exactly what you're supposed to feel, So I guess that's more of what I'm trying to say about anime, is that, like, usually the feelings are extremely apparent, and that makes it, it makes it easier to pick up on what it's trying to say than, something where characters are being more veiled or being more subtle in the way they communicate, in a way that anime, like, can't really do, or rarely is even close to capable of, because how can you even do that level of acting and, without acting? Alright, I will probably be wrapping up this live stream pretty shortly because I want to go to bed and see Bird and be cuddly and warm and have a nice time. So, if anybody has anything left that they want to super chat before I wrap this up, I keep, like, looking at the map or looking at the game and being like, where am I? Because I haven't explored this part of Liurnia as much, and I'm always surprised by how big it is. This game's bigness, it just folds in on itself over and over again. It's Katana video games. I think this is a place where I'll start getting shot at. Yeah, big catapults. That's not good. Let's just fucking teleport out of here. Let's go somewhere else. It looks like, well, I got killed. Wimp, 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 wimp. I'm winding down. This is the limit of where I've been in this game. Been to the peak of Liurnio. I've pretty much done everything that there is to do in Limgrave and the southern peninsula. Pretty much cleared them. But up here, shit gets tough. It's real tough. Gary Always with $5. Doi Tashimashite. Is it intentional that you always seem to be collaborating with a mad scientist? Huh. No. I always thought I was the mad scientist. So, that's an interesting way of putting it. I've never worked with somebody who thought that they were the more unhinged one out of the two of us. Never. No one I've worked with has ever come away and been like, "Oh yeah, I'm the crazy one between me and her." You know, it's not an impression I've gotten. Sour with $5. Doi Tashimashite. Thoughts on Kite? Kite is pretty interesting. It's a weird movie because it's kind of a tone piece. It's kind of pornographic, and the sex scenes are really well done, in terms of like animation and like quality and everything. And the one like action set piece that is like the centerpiece of the film is fucking pretty unforgettable. I've seen it enough times now that like it like the last time I watched Kite, I remember like spending a whole lot of the movie like, okay, but when are we gonna get to that part? Like, because that's the thing I remember, and like everything up to that felt like, you know, not nearly as standout or memorable. So like, even though I've seen it probably 2 or 3 times, maybe even 4, like it's really just the one crazy action scene and the sex scene that stand out in my mind, which, you know, both highly memorable pieces. The actual story, I think, just, I don't know, it didn't click with me in a way that like resonated or anything, or made me think like, oh wow, this is like really compelling. It's neat. It's cool. It feels like it's saying something deeper than whatever I'm getting out of it, just because of the fact, I guess, that so much effort was put into it. But I maybe that's just more of the you know, the Umezu style. I think that's the guy's name. What that lends to the animation. I haven't really seen his other stuff. I haven't seen Mezzoforte, so I can't compare it or anything. But yeah, I thought Kite was pretty cool. Never saw the sequel. Would watch it again. I would watch it again. I would definitely be interested if there was an analytical take to be had on Kite. I would be interested in discovering it. Hey, we're going into hell. Check it out. I've been here just a touch, but not really explored much. Oh, there's a big fucking pot man over there. I want to see that guy. Look at the size of him. He's a big jar. Alright, I'm going to stop once I get to the big jar. So if anybody has any last words before this is gone. Oh, it's a minor Erd tree. Oh, it's a boss. Oh, I don't want to be here. I remember watching Bird fight this guy, and it wasn't easy. Oh, I'm not as close to the thing as I thought I was. Oh, it was a trap. This was all a trap to put me over here at the Putrid Abbot. Oh, what's this then? This is an escape from the trap. Clever game. This might even lead over there, but we're not going to find that out today. We're going to stop after we hit this site of grace. I'm just proud that I found a way out. Actually, this is a catacomb, so it probably doesn't lead across to anywhere. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. That's how you feel about it then. I'm just going to stare at the chat for about 1 minute before I end this live stream, just to make sure that if somebody sent a super chat thinking it wasn't over yet, and then it, you know, it just suddenly ends and like, ah, shit. And, yeah, every time somebody talks about Euphoria, I think they're talking about the hentai too. It took me a while to realize that there was like a popular show called that. Alright, we're done here. Thanks for coming out, everybody. It's been nice. This was a good stream. If I can find another late night time to do a stream, I certainly will. But for now, I guess I shouldn't say goodbye until until I'm past closing out the game and actually at the